Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. We'll get started in just a moment. All right, I think we're ready to go. So this is the VisionServe Alliance's webinar, and we are really thrilled to welcome our special guests from the Inspiration Foundation. Today, we're going to talk about the Inspiration Foundation Assistive Technology Grant application process for 2026. And I know that you're very excited to learn more about how you can do well with this grant process. It's a fabulous opportunity, and we're thrilled to have Jeremy Grandstaff here. Helen, next slide. So I'm Wendy Himes, Director of Membership and Conferences here at VisionServe Alliance. And driving the car today, and as she does every day so beautifully, is Helen Chapman, Operations Director for VisionServe Alliance as well. And then we have our guest from the Inspiration Foundation. This is Jeremy Grandstaff. He is, I'll just tell you a little bit about Jeremy. He's new to a lot of us, but he's been in a space doing amazing work. So Jeremy, he is a seasoned leader in nonprofit growth, organizational effectiveness, learning and development, and change management with over 2 decades of cross-sector experience. He promotes sustainable change through empathy, advocacy, and strategic insight, helping organizations achieve long-term success. I love those goals. As the author of the Engaged Change process, he brings together more than 60 collaborative methods to guide meaningful organizational transformation. So Jeremy has recently joined the Inspiration Foundation as their new executive director. We're thrilled about that. And he leads technology grant expansion, the Inspiration Seal certification program, and strengthening partnerships to grow employment for people with blindness and disabilities by over 10% over the next 5 years. Great goal. So his career includes leadership roles at Cogent Analytics, Nexus for Change, S&G Endeavors, as well as active involvement with Penny Forward and World Services for the Blind. He holds master's degrees in organizational development and business administration, along with multiple certifications, and he remains actively involved in several national networks dedicated to learning, accessibility, and organizational change. Jeremy, we're thrilled to have you here to share more insight about the Inspiration Foundation with us, and I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Wendy and Helen. It's great to be with you and to be with all of the Vision Serve Alliance members. I have such a knowledge of all of the different membership that you have, and yet there are still so many that I do not know yet. And so it's really great to be with all of you and to be talking about the Technology Grants Program and to talk a little bit about the Inspiration Foundation as well. Now, before we do that, though, let's quickly check out our agenda. And then I actually want to come back to you, Wendy, and have you talk about the conference a little bit as well. So, can I get slide 3 there, Helen? Thank you. We're going to start with the introduction, which Wendy has already done. We're going to talk about the VisionServe conference. We are then going to move into the application timelines, eligibility. We'll talk about the application for the grant itself. And of course, we'll have that awesome Q&A afterwards. So I think we're on our way. But Wendy, can I turn it back to you to talk about this year's upcoming VisionServe conference?
Sure, love to. Right. So our annual conference is actually co-located with our partner, the Envision University as well. So our conference is going to be twice as large because we're going to have two different organizations co-locating at this year's event, which we're thrilled about, and it's going to bring the administrators, VisionServe Alliance members, and their staff together with clinicians, noted clinicians. So there's going to be, I think, I think at this point we have over 80 different sessions for you to choose from. So every hour there's going to be six different breakouts for you to choose from. So the content, I think you'll be very pleased when you go to click on the register and learn more about the conference to see all the different topics and expert speakers that are going to be there, along with our VisionServe Alliance's trademark amazing networking opportunities to check out the really great exhibitors and really grow your professional networks and learn, what's the newest technology and the newest methods of serving our populations. So it's May 27th through 30th. It's in Columbus, Ohio. Great airport, 10 minutes drive from the airport to our hotel, the Hyatt Regency in downtown Columbus. Fabulous downtown walkable location in a really great district with lots of things to do, lots of restaurants. I think you'll be you don't want to miss it.
Well, let's go ahead and I'm going to actually stick on that slide for just a second because I have to say, I currently live in DC now, Wendy, but as someone who grew up just north of Columbus, Ohio, I am so excited that you guys chose where you chose. So walkable, so accessible, gives us the opportunity to not just stay in a hotel for the entire event, but really, and not that that's bad, right? We want to definitely tap into the expertise that is there and all the different opportunities to network. But I just think that there's so much to do around there as well. It's amazing. And
Oh, I'm so glad you have the personal memories of Columbus.
yep, it's been, oh my gosh, I think we moved 15, 16 years ago. But I was just back, so I know it's been updated a little bit, but I did have an opportunity to check that out. And before we do our slide transition to talk about how you can become eligible for the grant, it just occurred to me, Wendy, I forgot to put a slide in to talk a little bit about why we even do the grant in the first place. So we're going to do that on the fly.
Yes.
Um, for those that are curious, the Inspiration Foundation has been around for about 20 years. We were originally started by Isaac Shapiro, who is the CEO of Clean Logic, and his business partner, Mike Gesser. And it was really started because Isaac's mom, who is B. Shapiro, was blind her whole life. And she recognized that technology was a key to her success. And I have to tell you, that's something that B and I have in common. Um, I am now about to hit 50, about 18 days after I'll see you in Columbus, Wendy. And when I turned 50, one of the things that I find fascinating is just the amount of change that we've seen in technology. And I remember telling my parents when I was this blind kid at 10 who wanted to come up to Marengo, Ohio, and go to my public school. I said, well, I've got to get really good at computers first because computers are going to be like the way for me to do everything in my life. And jump ahead to 2026, that was back in 1988. Jump ahead to 2026, we now have phones that are our computers, right? We have AI, and yes, we can have debates around what technology does for us and whether AI is important or not. But it has expanded, technology being the it, has expanded the capabilities of what we are able to do and how we are able to thrive and create the lives that we want as blind people. And so that's really what's behind this grant is the board of the Inspiration Foundation recognizes that if you're going to increase job retention, if you're going to get people hired, we have to focus on building those technology skills and building independent skills, which, of course, as I just described, are augmented by the technology skills. We also recognize that smaller nonprofits can have some struggles in getting that technology in place to do the training that we need to do. And each one of your organizations are doing just that. They're looking for ways to increase that technology exposure to get people trained and get them the opportunities that they need to not just build their career, but build their livelihood, build their financial house, to build everything in their life so that they know they are successful, right? And so VisionServe Alliance has been a partner with us on this for way before I got here, especially because I have only been the executive director of the foundation for 2 weeks at this point. So clearly this has been going on before me. But my goal is to work with the organization over the next 5 years, or work for the organization over the next 5 years, and to expand the grants program, to look at how we're getting more people hired by corporations, and people with disabilities, especially those who are blind or have neurodiversities, and to really see what we can do to change the game a little bit or make it even better. So that's a little background, and apologies again for not putting the slide in for that. As Helen is transitioning to our eligibility slide, what I wanted to do is just simply say a huge thank you to Wendy and Helen and everybody in the VisionServe Alliance network and that works for you all. That this partnership is amazing for us, and we're so excited to be able to work with you all on this. So thank you for that.
Oh, right back at you, Jeremy. We are so proud to be a partner with the Inspiration Foundation and Clean Logic for this project, and our members really do benefit tremendously from this support.
All right, so let's talk about who should apply to this grant. And what I find always really helps to really bring this home for people is I just want to take a moment to recognize who are the 2025 organizations who have been able to get this. Because as I'm looking, as I've run nonprofits in the past, I've always thought of, well, I want to see who has actually won this first, right? And by the way, all this is on the website. So when you get the link to the website later, you can go look at these. But just some of the people that some of the organizations that have won this grant in the past, and I'm not going to have time to name them all, but I just want to call out a couple. Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired, Cincinnati for the Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired, East Texas Lighthouse, San Diego Center for the Blind, the Carroll Center for the Blind, Valley Center for the Blind, Vision Forward Association. I actually just talked with them yesterday. Visions and Services for the Blind. And I'm sure I missed one. So if you were missed, please feel free to call and yell at me later. I look forward to that conversation. But who is eligible? Nonprofits that are doing tech training and that are focused on improving employment outcomes. We are looking for to award up to $5,000 in each grant. The grant is open to current VisionServe Alliance members only, and you must attend the conference. You must also agree to do a little testimonial with me and a little interview with me at the conference so that we can talk about anything that we can do to be helpful to you and to publicize the award. And I shouldn't have said with me, I should have said with the foundation. We also require that 3 months out, you're going to submit that proof of equipment purpose, and we're going to require that you submit impact reports by January 31st, 2027. And yes, prior recipients are welcome. We're just, make sure you've got your previous impact reports in, or else that's a red flag when we're looking at things, right? You want to make sure you get that paperwork in before applying for another grant. So that's a little bit about eligibility. If you could go to our next slide, we're going to talk about the application and important dates. So the applications are accepted. The period that you're looking at is February 2nd through April 3rd. I'm going to say that 3 times just to be safe. February 2nd to April 3rd. That means applications are due April 3rd. I have open office hours that I will publish on our social media at the foundation, of course, on my own, and I'll get those over to you as well, Wendy, the exact times and how to join those. For anybody who has questions, we're going to hold those on March 17th and March 30th. The deadline for applications is April 3rd. See, I put it in there 4 times. If you miss that deadline, you're really not multitasking well. All right. Um, Grant decisions are going to be made and communicated to people by April 20th. Grant acceptance documents have to be signed by the 1st of May. And then, of course, we'll have presentations of grant winners on May 28th through the 30th at the VisionServe Alliance. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be saying that differently, aren't I, Wendy? It's
Oh,
VisionServe
it's the
Alliance.
Envision and Vision Serve
Yes,
Alliance
thank you.
2026 conference. Yes.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. The Envisions and Vision Serve Alliance Conference. And to Envisions, I'm so sorry. I owe you a meal. Um, let's talk about the application itself. If you can pull that application up on the screen, we'll just talk about the application. All right. So you'll see we actually did okay. So on the application, it actually has the criteria that I already went over. So if you have any questions about that, it's all right there. And we'll make sure that you have my contact information if you've got questions. But here are the things that you're going to need to report on the grant application. So you've got, of course, the organization's name and the executive director's name. You're also going to need your EIN number. You're going to have that. You're going to have your street address. We do want you to talk about the equipment that obviously there's other contact information on there as well. But we're going to have you talk about the equipment that you want to purchase. And so we do have check boxes there that you can choose from. One of the things that we're asking you to do is to make sure that you talk about the specific details of the cost of the equipment. So, you want to make sure that you're taking a moment to get some quotes together or at least some good estimates so that you can make sure you're doing that. The big key with these is we want to be able to demonstrate impact. Notice when we're talking about the reporting, it's called the impact report. And so, question two on the application really talks about how is this going to improve your assistive technology programming and training, right? And so, really put some thought into that. How is it going to improve it? And I always tell people if you're thinking about how it's going to improve it, figure out a way that you can measure that, whether that's attendees, people trained, whatever that is. The more specific you are when you're doing your grant applications, the much easier it is to do the reporting on it. What are your timelines that you're trying to implement, and what is your goal that you're trying to achieve? I like to think of the goal that we're trying to achieve is what is that overall difference that is going to be made for either your clients or you can put it in terms of your organization to serve your clients because you were able to get this technology. We also ask you to talk about how your current training and adaptive training programs, adaptive technology programs are currently making a difference, right? And are currently focused on employment outcomes. That's really big for us. Um, and if you had an unlimited budget, how would you go about improving your programs even more? What's your target for successful employment outcomes? And so really, again, we're challenging you, excuse me, to think about how are we making this measurable, right? What is our target that we want to achieve? And that's about it. It's pretty simple application actually for a grant. Um, I do recommend to people that, well, when I'm applying for grants, I'm not going to tell you how to do your job, but when I'm applying for grants, I tend to take the questions, write them out in Word, spell check, maybe even language check it a little bit. I want to make sure that I really have like I tend to write an application one day and then review it 2 to 3 days later so that I can actually make sure I didn't, overlook something or miss something. These are all things that most people in development are already doing, but I always like to just reiterate that in the application process. Wendy, as I've been going through this stuff, is there anything that you feel like I need to dig further into before we open it up for Q&A? Q&A, I'm sorry.
You did an excellent job going through the application and just talking about, the different aspects and what you're looking for. Do you have any advice for length of answers? I believe those blanks don't have a character or word limit, but do you have any advice on brevity or?
That's a great question. And I know if the executive director of Penny Forward or World Services for the Blind is on this call, and I haven't looked at the people who are on, but if they are on this call, they're saying, "Oh, Jeremy's going to talk about brevity, really?" Um, so I like when I'm asked this question, what I like to talk about is, have you communicated effectively and in a way that is exciting, thought provoking, and engaging? And if you can do that in 3 sentences, all the more power to you, right? But and completeness is the other piece that I'm looking at. So let me take a really good example. What is your target for successful employment outcomes? To get people employed, probably not a good answer, right? But if you say our goal is to have 27, and please don't use these numbers because I'm making them up as I go. Okay. But our goal is to have 27 trainees, and out of that 27, we're looking for 18 of those 27 to gain employment over the next year. That's giving me a little bit more completeness and engagement in your answer. So, my rule of thumb when I'm working on things like this, if they don't have a limit on words, is make sure that what you're writing is engaging, thought provoking if it needs to be, complete, and make somebody say, "Wow, I want to fund that." Right? And kind of, yeah. I think that that's a good way to answer that question. How does that resonate with you, Wendy?
Perfect.
Okay, awesome. All right, shall we open it up for the Q&A? If you have got a question, you can hit, I think it's Alt Y if you're on, let me find out. Nope. Yes. So you can hit Alt Y to raise your hand if you are on the computer. If you're on your phone and doing this through your phone, you can raise your hand as well there. Oh, you know what? It doesn't actually show me who has their hand raised. So
And
I'm
we
going to
can go
have
off
to
of that
turn to
speech
Helen.
here, Helen.
And I have allowed everyone to unmute themselves as well. So if anyone wants to
Oh,
ask a
beautiful.
verbal question, feel free. And
That's
I
great.
think Kat Calabrese has her hand up right now.
Hey, Kat, it's really great to meet you. Thanks so much for joining. How can I be of help?
Hello, it's nice to meet you, Jeremy. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. So we're talking about a maximum of $5,000 here. I am just curious what the kind of baseline for that would be. What's the low end that we can anticipate on this?
So, okay. So I'm going to answer that question by saying, when I think about the low end, what I'd really think about is there a way to increase impact by not going so low, right? Like, let's say you say, well, I want to buy Slate and stylists. That's
Yeah.
great. Can't believe I just brought up a Slate and stylus in 2026, but I've got one, right? So I want to buy Slate and stylus, but if I was to buy XYZ, would that get me more impact? In other words, I've never been asked this question before, which is why I'm kind of finagling my way through it a little
Okay.
bit. Um, I would look at impact. I would say it wouldn't surprise me if to have the greatest impact, you had to at least go 1,000.
Okay.
But I don't want to kind of like throw out a low number and then have someone say, oh, well, we're going to just apply for paper. No, don't do
Mhm.
that, right? Like really think about how could you use this to improve the technology that you are training people on in a way that's going to make people hire them.
Yeah, I think that helps. Yeah, I'm thinking about, well, different amounts of money will help in different ways. Um,
Mm.
so okay. So I think we can work with that. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. And remember, I'm going to have those open office hours so you can always talk specifically about what you're thinking through. One of the things that I'm really good at is I will never say, well, that'll get funded or not, because that's not my decision, right? That's the committee's decision. But I do want you, if you need that thought partner to think things through, that's a really good role that I can have because I'm not actually on the committee. And by the way, that's by design so that I can be helpful to you and then empower the committee to really help us as an organization figure out where that money is going to be most impactful. Great question. Anybody else have their hand raised before we just open it?
We have a couple of questions in the chat.
Oh,
We've got
okay.
Allison Boast asked, can it be asked for multiple programs or just one program? And then she had a little follow-up question as well and said, what is the lowest age for this grant? We have a transitional youth program that starts from 17 to 24 and prepares them for employment, resume reviews, interview practice, transportation to and from work, etc.
So I would say, remember, okay. So Allison, that's a great question. Hold on. I want to pop over here to the chat so that I'm looking.
It's in the Q&A.
Oh, got it. Okay, I see. All right.
Yeah.
Remind me her first question. It's going to take me too long to get there.
Can it be asked for multiple programs or just one program?
Well, okay, so Allison, without getting into the specifics of what exactly we're talking about, I would say if you can demonstrate larger impact across 3 programs, but ask for the same amount of money, that's pretty amazing, right? And that's going to increase the impact. So logically, I would say yes, it could be. With respect to the second question, if you can give that to me, and I'm trying to get to the Q&A, so I don't have to keep asking.
Sure, no worries. What is the lowest age for this grant? We have a
Oh yeah,
transitional youth program. Yeah.
yeah. So as long as you're focusing it on technology, a youth program is going to work just fine. I've seen other organizations do that when I look at the winners and their impact reports. So, if you're training youth and they're going to be able to get a job as a result of that, that's amazing. And I would definitely say that that's a strong application. Very good question. And I am there now, by the way. What are some common mistakes and weaknesses that I have seen in this grant? I'm smiling when I answer this question because I literally have been in my job for 2 weeks. So if I answer your question honestly, it would be I have seen none because I've never reviewed an application for this particular grant. That being said, here are some things that I've been told that we want to be careful of, or that may be things that might weaken an application. One, if it's not focused on technology, that's going to be a key deterrent to get it funded, right? So, for example, um, and Allison, I'm going to piggyback off of your other question just to give an example, kind of what you were talking about. So let's say Allison is looking at training youth on how to edit their resumes, but they don't have any computers for them to do that on with JAWS. than investing in that technology to help people be able to learn how to edit their resumes and learn how to use JAWS, that's a great example of a strong application. But to ask for a resume reviewer and writer to be contracted and that this money would cover that, not such a great application strength. And whoever asked that question, if I'm not doing a good job of giving you what you're looking for, please feel free to unmute and just say your name, and I'm happy to go deeper on that. Any other questions? I am here for you, and I want to make sure we're getting this information out. And I know Wendy and Helen do as well. So, any other questions? Please feel free to unmute, and we'll do our best to answer.
Hi, this is Jill with Valley Center for the Blind. How are you guys?
I'm great, Jill. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And actually, I don't have a question. It's more of a thank you. We have been a recipient in the past, and I am fairly new to the role as Outreach and Development Manager, and so excited to just hear what you guys have to say and to be part of this. So it was just more of a thank you.
Well, and a congratulations to you as well. And thank you so much um, for putting that into play and for applying and obviously receiving and doing a great job with improving those employment outcomes. It's so critical for us as a foundation. This 10% employment improvement over the next 5 years is, as you said, Wendy, definitely a strong goal. But I don't believe that we should ever back down from a challenge. That's for sure. So thank you, Jill, for the work that you guys are doing. And welcome to the role. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And we are doing our best in the Central Valley of California to get visually impaired and blind people employed. So we appreciate the grant opportunity.
Absolutely. And I think we had someone raise their hand, Helen.
I will say one thing about the requirement that you attend the conference. So you can, if this is difficult, you can have any representative, if the executive director is not able to attend, or if you want to send somebody else from your organization to be there to accept the award, that's great. Just we really want to have somebody from your organization there in person. Of course, we want you to attend the conference. It's a great opportunity just to learn and gain knowledge and network. But that we have had some organizations that just sent somebody for the one day that you are accepting the award. We have a one-day rate as well. If that is an issue, you can send a board member, any company representative there to accept the award if that is an issue for your organization. And we do have another hand up, I see.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can. Hey, Tom, it's great to meet you.
Great to meet you, Jeremy. My question, I had something else going on, so I was a little late jumping in. What is the range of grant that is usually awarded?
It's up to 5,000, Tom. And one of the things that we'll do after this is share the presentation that I went through that talks about all of the eligibility. But it gives you the ability to go up to $5,000 on a grant.
Super, super. Thank you so much, and thanks for all you're doing.
Well, thank you, Tom. I really appreciate that. Any other questions? If you don't ask them, this has not been worth your time to have attended.
Hey, this is Joy Harris from Cosby. Can you
Hey,
hear me?
Joy.
Nodding. Hey, Jeremy. Thanks, Wendy. Cosby is the Council of Schools and Services for the Blind, and we educate. We have a nice transition program, but these are schools, which means that we do not currently have a formal assistive technology training. What I would love to do, and I want to know if it would be considered or eligible because of that question, your previous assistive technology, I would actually like to start a community of practice, helping our TVIs, training our TVIs in assistive technology so that they can help our students. And so the question is, would an idea like that be fundable? I'll say it in a way that wows you and the readers. But to the point of your previous assistive technology programs, the individual schools have things, but Cosby as an organization, this is a new frontier that I would love for us to explore. So is that eligible?
To fund the actual okay. So very easy for me to say it's a possibility if it's we want to buy the technology that we
Yes.
need in order to do that.
Okay.
If it's I want to fund the staff to do it, no.
Right. That makes
I
sense.
don't believe. I want to look into that further. But the technology piece is much more in line with the purpose of what the grant is designed to do.
Okay. That's fair. Thank you. You answered
All
that.
right, Joy. It was great to meet you. You guys are doing some amazing work out there. So thank you for that. All right. So I put a link in. It occurs to me that there may be some, and I meant to do this at the beginning. See, Wendy, I totally forgot. Um, but I put a link in. If someone wants to look at the presentation, you're welcome to do that. I'm giving you a link that obviously Wendy and her team are going to share the presentation after. But I'm getting ready to go through my contact information. And on the last slide of the presentation, excuse me, on the last slide of the presentation, we have some links to the VisionServe website. We have a link to the Inspiration Foundation's website, and my contact information is on there as well. Again, I'm Jeremy Grandstaff. I'm the new executive director. My office number is 202 810 5368. And my email address is just Grandstaff. That's JGRANDSTAFF at inspirationfoundation.org. And you know what? I'll add this into the presentation, but remember, well, just make sure that you're connected with the Inspiration Foundation on LinkedIn. That's where we'll announce those office hours. Again, those are going to be on I believe I said the 30th and the 17th. So we'll make sure that I'll get those nailed down for you, Wendy, before you guys do your follow through. That way we can just include those with the follow up. Is there anything else that you feel like I should go through before we wrap up for the day?
I think you've covered everything that I can think of as well, Jeremy. So thank you very much for your insights and for
You
your
got
time.
it.
It's wonderful to get to meet you, and thank you everybody for attending. We can't wait to hear more about your programs and to see you at the conference.
I cannot wait to meet you in person, Wendy, at the conference as well. And just it's so thankful for what your team does across the board. I know that the tech grants are just part of your portfolio, and you guys are doing some amazing stuff. So thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all for joining us. And this recording will be sent out within the next week. And you've got the link to Jeremy's presentation. And of course, the annual award information, including the Assistive Technology Awards, is on the VisionServe Alliance website under 2026 Annual Awards, along with the link to the grant application. We look forward to your applications. Thank you, everyone.